Okay, I've started the recording, so officially, good morning, happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Market Watch Group Wednesday Market Midpoint. My name is Scott. I will be your host. And we are definitely glad to have you. It's a great group, good energy. Let me remind you, as always, what we do is for educational, illustrative purposes only. Nothing said should be considered or construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any financial security. We make trades at our own risk. We're not brokers. We're not advisors. Okay, what are we going to do? Opening analysis. It's looking good. Revisit the posture. Holding up. Right? Holding up. Mindset for open trades. We had a little bit of a chat yesterday. And, talked about the fact that there's a good chance it's a little lighter what you're in right now. I said we're looking for trades. We're looking for trades. And I think we'll definitely see them start coming today. We'll look at our opportunity lists, definitely look at setups so we have a sense of where we think alerts may come. And lastly, let's talk about risk management a little bit more with our trading plan progress. Looking at section of the week, which is section 4. Let's get into it. Okay. Futures. Let's start there. They're not outstanding, but they're positive. S&P 0.12. Dow 0.05, NASDAQ 0.22, and Russell 0.5. So what's the Russell? What's the deal with the Russell? The deal with the Russell is people are going to start getting a little bit antsy about rate cuts, which I don't, obviously they're not coming this week. Fed set to hold rates steady, of course, this week. There's nothing for them to do. I think September, let's just jump right to the economic calendar. As I said, for me, tomorrow morning, so we won't be able to discuss it until our Thursday evening working session for foundations, but this is going to be important. If we hit the numbers expected, meaning we jump from 2.3 to 2.5, I think it's still a no for September. If we improve at any level, then I think it can. And if it's worse than expected, if we think, we're going to get 0.1 and it comes at 0.4, if we think 2.3, if we think 2.5 and it comes in at 2.6 or 2.7, anything that has like a negative surprise, it for me automatically disqualifies September, puts us to October. So that's a big one. ADP employment looking for 64. We got 104. Last time they were in the negative. So good to see some recovery in the private sector, that private payrolls. GDP came in surprisingly strong. That's fantastic. Remember we said we would like to see GDP at 3, inflation at 2. That's the mechanism. That's the formula for the right kinds of growth. GDP at 3, inflation at 2. Okay, GDP did its job. Got to 3. There's some growth, some recovery. We like to see that. Or are we going to see the interest rates? That's the question. Later today, of course, at 2 p.m. Eastern, 12 o'clock noon, lunch hour for me, we'll get the decision, which is widely expected. We could just pop over there real quick. Widely expected to be nothing. A 97% chance of nothing. 3% of the people are like, maybe. No. No. September has actually shifted. We were around 65, 30. No, maybe not quite that high, but it was closer to 2 to 1, and now we're barely better, or not quite 1.5 to 1. So I feel like this is realigning slowly into maybe not September, and then we have this October, and we're like, that's where 3 to 1 odds in favor of, maybe even 4, of some cut. Now these people think there may be 2, and this 1% over here thinks there would be 3 cuts: 1 in July, 1 in September, 1 in October. So we sort of discount them as the people who've got tinfoil hats on over there. We're not really thinking about what they think. And you still have a good chunk of people who think, nah, we're not going to get any cuts at all. All right. Let's go scan kooks. Indeed. U.S. private employers add 104,000 jobs. That's good. Whirlpool is championing the tariffs that hammered its quarter. Okay. The U.S. economy rebounded at 3% in between April and June after trade wars wiped out growth during the first quarter. 25% tariff on India, unspecified penalties for buying Russian energy. I like that. It's clear that they just need to pressure more around the Russia. So, am I missing anything, Kraft? Yes, 100%. There's a beat for earnings. Tariff signs $4 billion battery deal aims to reduce reliance on China. Here's a question. This is a little off topic. Oh, by the way, you might be thinking, Scott's here, so the garden blowtorch test must have gone successful. And unfortunately, I did not have a chance to actually get out. I thought I had an extra propane, but it's underneath my Blackstone, and I'm like, I don't want to have to go pull it off and hook it up and test it. So the test will come later today. If you're not sure what I mean, I bought a garden flamethrower. It's maybe not a flamethrower. I mean, it's exaggerating a little bit, but it's a garden torch, and it's for weeding. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Cleansing by fire. That's the only way. I don't know how effective it's going to be, but I'm going to put my earphones in and just go around and burn the hell out of all my weeds. It's going to be amazing. It's on my docket for Sunday. The hope was that I don't blow myself up. Yes, Jacob, probably so. My wife's going to have the fire extinguisher all set to go. All right, there's the market open. Let's go see how we opened. Yesterday was a bit of a lot of things just kind of rolled over on us a little bit. You can see the market's kind of doing the same thing here. Our stochastics crossed. It's making this feel already even a bit flaggish. That's the right word. Flaggish. Flaggy? Flaggish. Flagtastic. Where's my drawing tools? Let's draw. So we had this move up here. And that was it, the flag. And it broke, and it was slow to get going. Oh, always a little bit dangerous. And then we got the move. Wasn't as big of a move. You can see this was steeper and taller. but still bullish. Now we seem to be hitting some resistance in what? We can start to draw flag. What do I like to draw at the end of the flag? I like to put a little consolidation box, which if I were to extend my old high should be pretty close to intersecting it as a new low. Old high, new low, trend intact. So what we're thinking here is what's this consolidation going to look like? Is it going to be a flag and it's just going to break out? Bam, this thing turns. What's the problem people have with that? We had a little bit of it back here where they're like, well, but it's overbought, Scott. Psst, overbought. That's the last thing we look at. The very, very last thing that we look at. Stocks that are overbought means what? That there's a preponderance of buyers. That's the only way something can get overbought. And if it continually is overbought, that means that there's a continual imbalance in favor of buyers. If you go look at some of the biggest, best price moves up, you're going to see that they did it overbought 90% of the time. So don't let that dissuade you from wanting to take a trade. That's not a disqualifying factor. If we get the flag, that's what it will look like. If we just sort of drift, that's a red candle. Sorry, I'm in blue. Then we stabilize, and then we turn like that. Either one of those, right? That is a flag breakout, which would be busting a consolidation. Those are always a little harder to trade. People are like, I love momentum, and then sometimes struggle to trade momentum. It's hard to be like, well, I didn't get the pullback I was looking for. Well, there's the pullback. So we're there. Things are looking favorable. 2 days in, what's our posture doing? 3 days in now, halfway through. Well, nothing. We still made a new high yesterday. We've pulled back from it. I would say from either of these, this is just kind of pausing. If this moves all the way up, that's the next time I would score this better. But this could drop all the way back to here, and I'm still going to keep it at the 1.25. This red line sequence here, which you can kind of see all these three red lines, this is a 1.25. So if we were to pull back and hit this and turn, I'm like, yeah, we're in our 1.25. That's what we're looking for. The only way that the long term is likely to change is if we were to actually get enough strength to get to the top of this thing, and then I'm going to be like, now that's so much strength that I'm going to move it up to a 1.5. So long term looks good. If anything, it gets better. Short term looks fine. The trend that we've been seeing is the trend that we continue on, and right now we're at the upper edge of that trend. I know my lines aren't great, but we're more towards up here, looking for this, that it could pull back and get back down to this horribly unstraight line. Volume already dropped down to, you can actually see what's interesting is we only have this and one other day left. And then we're out of all those old buying days. We still have an upward move. We got no volume though. But a tie goes to the buyer. So unless we see a high volume sell day pop up, volume score is likely to stay the same. What's the last piece of this puzzle? Of course, we know that the sector rotation and major market, those have both been showing favorability. Tech's been leading the way. We've been seeing financials, industrials, consumer discretionary showing up as well. Okay. What did the VIX do yesterday? A little bit of fear popped in. How much? We got to move back to see it a little better. Let's go to 6 months. How much fear? It's a funny thing, right? When we look at it from this chart, we're like, ooh, maybe it's a pretty big spike. It went almost halfway back up to where, the old highs were. But the problem is these old highs are not high at all. When we take a step back here, all of a sudden highs are in the 20s. When we take a step back here, well, that really puts things into perspective. How much fear do we see here? Hardly any. That doesn't look fearful. That doesn't look like the institutions are like, oh, circle the wagons. Looks like a little blip. And so if it stalls, I'm going to go back so I can get a little bit more ease to draw with. There we go. Yeah, even if it were to come up, this is my old high. You can see it intersecting around this line coming down. Even if we went up and then rolled over, which would match what? Go back to the previous drawings, and there was a flag that was breaking. If we break the flag, it looks like this. Right? A blocked candle turning over, making us think this is a lower high. If it goes up a little bit more for a pullback and then turns over, this is still either one of these are still lower than that. What is that telling us? That we're continued in this. I mean, it's not even de-escalation anymore. It's de-escalation when we're in the 30s and 20s. When we're in the teens, it's just a confident market. There's no fear. Right? This is a fear indicator. And when we don't see much fear, the other side of the coin is we expect confidence. So this all looks pretty good. Our posture is holding up. 5.5 should stand. Let's go see what's tradable then. I am excited. I'm going to take some pictures of before and after, just in case it's dramatic and awesome. If the before and after look silly and it's like I wasted my money, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna post failure pictures of my garden flamethrower. Ooh, advanced auto parts. Looking good. Right? Looking good. Made a new high. Post earnings made a new high. Oh, post earnings here. That was a dividend. Pulling back, looking to establish support. We've got time before earnings. I'm thinking about it. Apple still on a pullback. Still has earnings in a couple of days. So don't forget, we still have plenty of things reporting earnings this week. They can report tomorrow after market. Amazon is also tomorrow after market. And it looks like it's trying to consolidate down. The trend still looks good. APH survived earnings. Kind of had some volatility around it. Popped up. I don't know. There's not a real clear pattern here. ASTS. This was a new one. This was one I'm pretty excited about, and this is definitely showing good signs. I'll tell you right now, this one is setting up for an anticipatory where we think, maybe this is just going to hold support and bounce, even though we haven't seen the buyers regain control yet, right? That's what makes it anticipatory. You're anticipating the buyers coming in. ASTS, top of the list so far. Looking good. Looking ready. Look at these moves. This was phenomenal. This was all we need. I'm not going to look for this. If you're like, oh, what kind of move are you going to look for, Scott? I'm going to take this one. 43 to 60, 17 points. And I'm going to put it here, 53 to 70. 17 points. Perfect. EXP. No. Looked like it wanted to try to make this bounce, but it's a little bit of a hiccup. Does that mean it's untradeable? Not at all. I actually feel like this is a sneaky reversal more than anything. I looked at that as more of a consolidation. Pops up here. If this pulls back and doesn't get here, so if it stalls and then it turns, if you're in the trade, you're like, whew, I made it. If you're not, this is breaking the hiccup, and that's absolutely viable. But not for a couple of days. Bank of America did not make the move we were looking for here. Kind of a mini flag. It's not a great pull, but it's still a flag-ish consolidation, so worth keeping an eye on. Beyond. Okay. They reported earnings. They did better than expected, which means they lost less than they thought. We have a accelerating trend. Big strong move up, consolidation down. This is a lot more volatile. So this is gonna test you potentially with some volatility. If you're not interested in that, this one may not be in your wheelhouse. Same with QS down the watch list a little bit more volatility. Here's a new one for financial. Citi looks fabulous. Am I wrong? Got this beautiful move here, a little bit of a consolidation. Beautiful move here, a little bit of a consolidation. We're just looking to see if we're going to get this same type of a pattern. Yeah? Just give us a little bit of buyers, give us the cross. In we go. What do you guys think about Citi? New candidate to the list. You guys have gone quiet on me. There we go. Thank you, Kami says. If it gets to 95.5, that's a good level. I like that level. Yeah. If it starts to turn up, show us the buyers. Looking strong here. Let's look at the long term of this one. Woo! Goodness, look at that. Look at that. I gotta say, sometimes I go to the weekly and I'm like, oh man, we look a little parabolic on this perspective. Parabolic makes me start thinking consolidations are in order. I mean, it's a funny thing, right? Because we all remember tariff reveal day, the tariff reveal party that led us into this little consolidation / bear market. Yes, culminating right in here, as Kami said. And then we bottomed out, and it's been quite strong. We took out the previous highs. So then the question is, and this is just on Citi. But what would a correction, which is 10%, look like? It's 10 points. Puts us back down here to this. So if that came, I wouldn't be like, oh, what's happening? I'd be like, yeah, the correction. They happen. I'm not predicting it. I'm just saying. Caterpillar looks the same as Citi, only the problem is you've got earnings in a few days. I would love to trade this. I would love to trade it. I just don't think there's going to be time before earnings. CCJ, same thing. Earnings tomorrow. CLS smashed their earnings. And you might think, oh, this is why I sometimes want to hold through earnings. And then you're like, but what about IBM? And what about Netflix? IBM was worse, but I'm just saying. Does look strong, though. CNM. Come on down. You're the next contestant. Up, down, love it. Up. Now what? This is us waiting for it to come to you. Come to me, my child. Let me trade you. Capital One. What's going on with our credit card companies, you guys? I feel like that's just like a cash cow in America. Credit all around. And maybe that's the problem. Coinbase. They're right on the cusp of earnings, but this is a setup other than the fact that it's right on the cusp of earnings. Right? I mean, when do they report? 7:31 aftermarket. And everyone's like, oh, how could they not? Crypto's going so well. That doesn't necessarily mean that there's corporate profits. I'm just saying, right? Could they go well? Absolutely. You could see back here. Actually, back here, it was kind of iffy, and then bing, then all of a sudden it popped. Very strong, though. Oh, Coupang. It's an inside day with a crossing stochastics. I felt like I needed this thing to develop and signal by here and give me this 3 days because I just don't have much time. 8.5 aftermarket. 8.5. Let's see. If we took it today, still a bit anticipatory, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Maybe. Cisco. Kind of grinding sideways. We did great with Cisco on some trades. I know some people tried over here on this one, and then it just failed to launch. I can't see anyone still in this one, but if you are, be careful because it's just the buyers are not materializing. DoorDash. I'd be thinking about this one. Problem is what? Earnings. 8.6. Hasn't signaled. There's the Dow pulled back a little. There's EA coming out of earnings. They were expecting to lose 35 and they made 79. That seems phenomenal, but it's just up 3%. Expedia. Oh, there we go. We have a couple extra days there. And you might be thinking, Scott, is down. It's down, but it's giving us a hammer. What comes out of a hammer? Confirmation. And then we have a trade. Yeah. Expedia. Looks pretty good. Ford. No. Futu Holdings. Looking exciting. Am I wrong? Just smashed up to a new high. Now it's pulling back. Old high, new low. Looking for a support level right through here. Futu. Come on down. GE. Overextended. Looking for the pullback. GE Vernova pushing against resistance. Gold. Looked like it might have been setting up, but then it did that. Google. Potentially, you can see potentially breaking this flag and ready to go. What would give us confirmation of that? Bam. Right there. Right there. I don't know. I'm feeling kind of froggy on this one. Entry, stop, target. Feeling a bit froggy. Intriguing indeed. Thank you, Karen. I thought maybe I was putting people to sleep. I was like, hey, is everyone still out there? Did this not seem enticing to you? Karen and I are enticed. Goldman. Maybe not. I'm enticed. She's intrigued. I don't want to put words in her mouth. Goldman overextended. Hasbro. I feel like uncertainty on China tariffs makes it hard to trade something like this where there's clearly a ton of imports. Robinhood reports after market today. Then we'll see what goes on there. Howmet's moved but stalled. And earnings. Oh, it's a big earnings day tomorrow. Big earnings day tomorrow. Huge. IBM having a hard time recovering. IVZ. Invesco. That one's fairly new. Just had a phenomenal earnings report, which is interesting. They had a phenomenal earnings reaction. They were expecting 38, they got 36, but something they said made people happy. Overextended for us though. Nothing for us there. IWM. Just kind of flat. Joby. It's looking consolidative, but it's getting pretty close to its earnings. Levi. Okay. So the constant question of, is that a pullback or is that a sell-off? For me, it was a pullback until here, and it needed to do this, but it didn't. And now it's turned into a sell-off. It's now in consolidation mode. So what do I need it to do? I need it to break out, come back, higher low. That is the pattern that now makes that buyable for me. Yeah. And it can happen quickly. You can see, here's one where boom, boom, higher low. I need that higher low, right? And then you could take this and try for this. And then we had a consolidation. And then, bam, that's the next trade right there. You can see how it aligns with a cross on a overbought stochastics. And you might think, oh, yeah, Scott, would you have gotten all the way to here? Of course not. Absolutely not. I would have gotten until here. Right before earnings. Because I get out. But that still would have been a good trade right there, right? That's still a profitable trade. Love. Nothing there. Man, they got beat on there. Is that across the board? Who else is watching any airline stocks? Let's run through the list. American. Bad, but not as bad. Delta. Not great. ALK. Alaska Air. United. United looks the best. But then the question is, am I looking to find the best house in a bad neighborhood? Is that my real estate philosophy? I'm going to say no. Meta has earnings. So that's the problem with the Google trade is, they're in the blast zone, so to speak, where if Meta gets good earnings, Google will probably benefit. But if Meta gets bad earnings, Google's probably going to get pulled down. Microsoft. Nope. Morgan Stanley. I jumped the gun. Morgan Stanley can't really get moving all of a sudden. We had all this good movement back here. Great trade over here. And then we got into this. And it's just sort of meh. Microsoft looks great. Overextended. Earnings come today. Another big one reporting. Micron. So Micron looks okay, actually. I think it's consolidative. However, if you are looking for a continuation, stop down here. In at 113, I could put my stop really within 4 points. 4 points. So at 121, I'm getting 2-1. And at 125, I'm getting 3-1. Do those look like they're in reach? Yeah, absolutely they do, right? I think absolutely they do. That's one to think about. Netflix, nothing there. Let me get out of these candles. Nvidia, okay. Yesterday wasn't good. You said there still could be something. I said I'm going to hold my PLTR and see if we get a bit of a recovery. Here's Pagaya Technologies. Ugh. Do I have time? 8-7 before, so I have till 8-6. Thinking about it. But this is another one of those higher momentum. PLTR, getting a little back. I need more than this. I need it to get up a little bit higher. Come on, PLTR. You can do it. QQQ, grinding along. QS. I mean, there was a lot of give back to be had, but now it's feeling more like a sell-off than a consolidation. Roblox, earnings coming tomorrow. Reddit, earnings coming tomorrow. Rocket Lab. Ooh. Well, hello. Well, hello, Rocket Lab. Look at you, dressed for dinner. Time before earnings, finding a support level here, pinching down below. Ooh. Even if I just got a retest at the old highs, I don't need a new high if I got this. It's expensive options. Be careful about that. That looks intriguing / enticing. RTX overextended. Silver. Oh, silver. We were thinking maybe it's setting up. Now we're like, is it going to hold? It has this little gap. Is this going to hold? If this holds, this still viable. I still think there's viability there. SPY just kind of pulling back here, right? Just a little bit of a consolidation. TME. This is one I'm thinking about. You can see it kind of feels like we're trying to bounce. Time before earnings. And we're going to see if this trend will continue. Yeah, I still am thinking about that one. So there's definitely a possibility for at least one, maybe a twofer today. And some people are like, I don't know if I want to put a trade on because X information is going to get released. Solve for X. It's always something. There's always something that's about to get released. And if we're, if I were a 1.5 market posture and we're in this type of a week, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to put anything on. I'm a 1.5 and we're seeing news, but we're not. We're 5.5. Right? We orient and anchor to institutional perspectives and analysis in order to make sure that we're not going against the grain, so to speak. Perplexity. Apple may buy them on a rumor mill for AI. Is there behind them? That makes sense. Apple definitely always has cash. That's their superpower. Always has cash. I don't actually think Apple's been innovative in 2 decades. They just always had enough money to go buy whoever was innovative, right? That's their MO. TSM holding up. Uber was a dog and has been placed on the debtor list. It's in debtor's prison. Visa, like the other credits, not doing much. The VIX today is just kind of flat, which is okay. Flat after fear means the fear is subsiding. Walmart hitting that resistance level up here. It's really kind of a channeling stock right now. Wins in a little bit of a pullback. It's got earnings. Okay, so that's the watch list. Real quickly, we're working on section 4 this week. Make sure you have your portfolio heat, how much risk at any given time. Make sure you know how much risk per trade. Make sure you know how many trades you're comfortable managing or what these two together will lead you to. Make sure you know how and when you're going to make your risk adjustments, and more specifically, how you're going to correlate them to current market posture. Tsunami indicators, which on the morning of actual tsunamis, what do we know? Well, there was an event, and the event triggered tsunami watches where they're like, oh, the tsunami's going to hit in 4 hours. We're not always good at it, but hopefully it seems like we were good enough on that one to say, here's your warning that something nasty's coming. Okay. And that's what we're looking for here. Is there a warning that says something nasty is coming? We watch the VIX. We watch sector rotation. We watch major market analysis to just see how are the institutions lining things up. Lastly, and I've had a person actually come and say, you know what? I'm on a break. When to take a break? Interestingly, I would say 3 out of the last 3 trading breaks I took were around the holidays. I don't know what it is. We get to December and something happens. Like the Christmas spirit takes over and I lose my mind. It's always me too. I'm always like, oh, stop making these mistakes. Take a break. And I'll self-impose a 1-week penalty, and by day 3 I find a trade. It's a it's an interesting repetitive cycle. So most of the forecasts were that I was going to hit overnight. So okay, 3 minutes over. Thanks for the extra time. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Based on how things are starting, it definitely looks like we're going to get some kind of an alert today. So be ready. Be on the lookout. You saw the ones that were likely to develop into a trade. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right. It's great to see everybody. Thank you, Kami. Great to have your energy as part of it. Wish me luck cleansing my weeds by fire later today on a trial run. I'll report back and let you know how fun it was. And enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget, Glenn will be here this afternoon. I don't know what happened to the link. I'm going to go check on that link, and I'll tell you on an internal aspect. We're working on making it so that it's easier to join, so that you don't have to like RSVP. We're kind of working on our registration and meeting attending experience to make it faster, easier, better. If you have any insights on like please send me your stories. It's very helpful for us to understand, is this working? Can we do better? We want our community and our platform to be just like our trading, constantly improving. Yeah. So it's good to see everyone. I love it, Tony Z. There you go. Have a great rest of your day. But what I was going to say is that link will show up. So if you're like, what happened to Wednesday's class? It's on. Last hour of the day, Glenn will be here. I'm going to go look at it, make sure that link is updated, and at the same time, be looking at the rest of the experience. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your day. As always, happy trading.